Welcome. In front of me I have the TORRAS Guardian Semi-Transparent Case for the iPhone 17 Pro, and I'll be going over unboxing along with the test fit of the case, seeing how well it's made, and just my general opinions about it. So one thing that I want to point out for the TORRAS company that is making this clean look looks nice and clean, but for the love of God, I have no freaking clue what's inside of the box in reality. I feel like maybe just add something that would, I don't know, distinguish it to make it easier to know what kind of features the case inside has. As an example, I'm gonna bring this again. The ESR cases. Put the actual case on the front of the box, so I can see it has a pop-up kickstand that is part of the camera integration, and it's a solid color that you have multiple choices of, and also for multiple different devices. Now this one was, I think, for the Pro, so it's kind of confusing, at least in this case, because it's a different case for each one of those phones, but this is just a single case. So but you get the idea of like the imagery. Can keep it clean, but I feel like it would have been nice to have a little bit more insight in what's inside of the box, making it, for instance, if it's on the shelf in the store, a bit more visually appealing to me. Because looking at the box right here, yeah, I don't give a shit what's inside. It just looks like nothing to me. So anyway, let's just get straight into this. Inside here we get the very vibrant colored case. Okay, get the buttons. That's a choice of, I guess, colors, so we can switch out the power, volume, and action button for either additionally white or this kind of neon green colors from the orange that come already on the case. And the white button right here for the camera, yeah, that's not changeable, and that's staying white, unfortunately. This just kind of seems a bit meh. I personally don't really like this. It clashes on with the rest of the colors. I guess the best way you could go about it is probably putting on the white buttons to match this, but you're trying to basically solve a problem that I guess you need to solve. Alternatively, if you want to add buttons, maybe try to make this one be removable and also add that in a box with different colors, assuming that is even possible, as this is a capacitive touch button, so it does transfer over your kind of finger input to the actual slider right here for the camera. So anyway, let's continue on. So I'm going to talk about just the case. I'm not really going to talk about the swapping of the buttons, anything like that. They are here if you are interested. Let's talk about the quality, craftsmanship, and how well the case fits. So starting off, all the buttons right here, as you already seen, are a physical button that you can remove, and they are a bit loose. So when you put in your phone in, they won't be rattling anymore, as the physical button on the phone will be pushing them out. So I'll be sticking just a little bit out and making it a bit nicer to press with an actual travel distance to it. Now this also has a press to it. So if I flip it to the side, there we go. Now this one is kind of rough in the execution. Doesn't want to like go back, get stuck pressed in. So that's pretty weak design right here, but other than that, the buttons right here are pretty solid all throughout. We have also on the bottom left side of the device the company logo branding, and let's plop in our phone. So like I mentioned, when you put in your device, these buttons become pushed out, so it's they do have a travel distance and satisfying click from it, because you're literally clicking the power button just with a bit more distance. And it's not mushy because these are plastic buttons. They don't feel very mushy like some cases that have silicone ones where you just kind of like, smoosh it. So these are, I would say, much nicer feeling. Now, if we take a look at the bottom of the phone, where we have most of our cuts for things like the speakers, charging, and whatever, we have additional cutout right here. Now, I believe this is for a lanyard, considering there is a little bit of space, but I don't know, like wrapping it around from here to the area where you have your speaker, that's just a bit odd in my opinion. Not the cleanest kind of design right here, but it is here if you want to use it. Now, when it comes down to precision of cutting out these holes for speakers and stuff like that, let me just bring a bit more light. They are actually pretty centered. Not perfectly, but closer than they usually are. So that's decent kind of design right here. It's one of the better ones, to be completely honest, between all kinds of companies. So props here. Now, we also have our Type-C port right here with additional kind of space around it, which allows us to most likely plug in very thick cable. But I do have one right here just to test it out how well it's going to plug in. So this is a very thick one, you can clearly see, while normally they are about, the body of it is about this thick. So you can see there is a bit of a difference between them. So let's plug it in and see if we have any clearance problems. And we do not. So it is clicked in all the way, doesn't interfere with the plug. It doesn't push it out or anything like that. So it's solid. Nothing bad to say here. So that's one. One more thing will be the front bezel all around here, around the phone itself. It adds a bit of a lip right here, so when you place your phone screen down, your screen shouldn't get scratched up. Now the lip right here is, I would say, kind of in between a very visible one and almost non-existent one. So this one is solid enough, and I already have a applied tempered glass, so it gives you enough clearance to the point that you shouldn't really worry about your screen scratching if you do this. Now, same thing goes for the back. We do have a raised camera plateau right here, this bezel all around, that protects our camera lenses along with the plateau itself. So when you place it like this, even if I'm pressing on the camera side, it's not gonna scratch. So again, you don't need to worry about that one. But this kind of design right here leaves a couple of things that I want to talk about. So, and this exposed plateau obviously exposes the plateau, meaning if, for instance, you're a woman that tends to drop your phone loosely into your purse, things like keys, change, and whatever might scratch this plateau or the lenses. And when it comes down to protecting the lenses, you don't really have that many options, as there is, from what I can see, about 3 different ways to protect your camera lenses. And one would be, for instance, this. So this, So this is one way you can protect your camera lens. And this is basically a full plateau cover. Now this one is designed for the iPhone Air, that's why it's different size and shape than it should be. But it is perfect to cover the same plateau that iPhone Air has, which is just kind of this shape. Now, Pro also has their own version of this, and obviously you won't be able to use this with most cases, as most cases do this camera plateau coverage, and there is not enough clearance between this raised lip on around the cameras. So this has not enough clearance between the camera clearance and the actual edge of the protection to fit between here. So this will not be usable for you, as you wouldn't be able to put on, once you apply this, you wouldn't be able to put on the case on the phone. So that's one thing that you won't be able to use. Another one that you also can sometimes see is one that is exactly the same as, for instance, the Samsung phones have on their cameras. Now, this is the default design of a Samsung, but you can buy these kind of rings as a lens protector for your iPhone. Now, those could possibly fit here. I don't have them to test it out. I did it at one point, but they're gone by now, so I can't really test it out. They could possibly work, and those would only protect your lenses, obviously, and also around the lens, as it is kind of like a cap that you put on. And they are perfectly sized for the camera itself, so there's like not much wiggle room around it. So they're precise, and I don't know if the thickness of it isn't thick enough to basically interfere with the, again, the raised area right here around the cameras. Like I said, possibly it could work, but I'm not certain. One that I know will 100% work is probably the least expensive option, and it's just a disc. You can buy these kind of clear discs, either plastic or glass. You take them off and you plop them on directly onto the glass portion of the lens. That's it. And it goes on top. There is no like overhang or anything like that, so it has no clearance problems, will work with literally any case, and is going to be the most versatile if you have multiple cases with different designs. As for instance, you have cases like this one. You can see this has a silicone that goes around here and around the cameras, so the two aforementioned other alternatives for lens protector won't even work with this case at all. And the only one that will work is those discs that you apply on top, as they are the same size as the lens itself. Therefore, they wouldn't be interfering with the cutout. So that's one option that you can look into. But still, most of the cases you will have exposed plateau, which can get scratched. And as we already seen on videos probably, this seems to be scratchable. I don't want to test it myself, but it looks like it can easily scratch, so you might want to watch out for that one. Now, additionally, I mentioned that you can probably get this scratched by putting it in your purse, but that's not the only place. If you're a dude and you put your phone the same place where you put your keys or your pocket change, yeah, look for the same kind of effect, obviously. So, anyway, that's one thing. Moving on. Here we have a plastic area. So this is just straight kind of frosted plastic, and this will get scratched up probably too if you, just like this one, if in the same kind of scenarios of your purse or your pocket. But it shouldn't get scratched up from putting it on a table, because if you flip it to the side, you can see we have a raised area right here that lifts the plastic off of the table right here. So it gives it just a tiny bit of clearance, and obviously more clearance on the other side with the camera plateau raise. So plastic, in terms of scratching from a table, you should be fine, no problem there. Also, you can see that there is no MagSafe built into this case. It's just clear plastic, nothing in it. So it adds a little additional thickness, doesn't have MagSafe, so your device most likely won't hold as well to MagSafe accessories. But I do want to point out that the company actually has MagSafe compatible cases that look almost identical to this. As an example, here is one. This one is probably the closest one, but it has additional feature. So this is a MagSafe, but it also acts as a kickstand that can rotate freely 360. And same thing with the protection for the buttons right here and here, though it doesn't come with the different colored buttons if you're looking for that. Still, solid case nonetheless. Or, if you're not looking for a kickstand, here is a black one that I have. I really like this one in terms of the aesthetics, as every button is the same color, so you don't have that white mismatched kind of button right here. It's just black, just like the rest of them. And it comes with a MagSafe, and it's nearly identical design other than that. It just comes with a MagSafe and different color. Fantastic alternative. Now, I did a review of all of these cases that I just brought in. And for each one of them, you can find the link in the description to affiliate to like Amazon if you're looking to purchase it yourself. Now, going back to this one. So we have a raised area right here that will protect the plastic. No MagSafe, unfortunately. And I think that's really everything that there is to talk about with this case. It's a solid case, with the only kind of problem that I personally find is being the mismatched white button right here for the camera. I just feel like it clashes with it. And like I mentioned before, you could swap out the rest of the buttons for white ones to match this one. but you're solving a problem that you shouldn't really need to solve. It's an orange case. Why isn't the button orange? So that's just kind of my approach right here to this. Obviously, if you don't care about the color of the button, that's completely fine. That's probably one of the reasons why I'd probably want to go with the black one over this one, just because the button is a little bit more hidden, because it matches the rest of the case. One more thing that I wanted to mention in terms of quality of production right here is they're nearly seamless blend between the plastic and the rubber part of the case. So some cases, when you grab it in your hand, it will have this kind of edge where you can feel where it fuses the rubber with the plastic, and then just kind of like a lip that sticks out and just catches your finger. Here it's like I genuinely cannot tell. My nail can't catch onto anything. It just goes from the plastic to the rubber seamlessly. So there's literally nothing that catches my finger, which makes it feel pretty nice in hand, very kind of refined. Another thing is the texture of the bumper around. It's not just clear kind of smooth rubber. It has a bit of a texture, which makes it nicer to hold. It has this very nice feeling texture. It is rubber, but it does feel nice. I do want to clarify this. So when holding this case in hand, the phone, it does feel nice. It just feels like this case is a bit more premium. So I do want to give props for the production quality right here. And one more thing that I want to point out is the cutout right here for this plastic is matching the cutout of the glass that is on the phone itself. I'm pointing that out because they also had a case, the same company, this one, which is the ultra thin case. And here it's mismatched. You can see that the plastic is going a little bit higher than the actual cutout for the part that holds the glass on the phone itself. So this is mismatched, and for my kind of OCD, it just bugs me. But this case, on the other hand side, seems to be close enough to the point that it is almost perfect. But if you look very closely, I'm going to bring it up, you can see it's just like I don't know, less than a millimeter off. If I can get the light to shine correctly. You can see that cutout like right here, the difference in shading of the blue. That's basically where the glass and the aluminum frame starts to begin. So you can kind of see it. In person, this looks a little bit more visible, but you need to be really looking for this to see it. But anyway, that's about it. So if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.